And I don't mean me. That's how to render the rest of the party complete silent. Excellent. I will use that from now on whenever I need a quick moment of silence. Introduce something awkward. Right, is that everybody? I think it's everybody.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Liz. Hello, Mark.
Hello. How?
We're good. We're just starting now. It's 1 o'clock. It's time for Star Trek.
Yeah.
But of course, the first thing we have to do is wait to see if folks are managing to get into Forge Foundry. All right. So far, so good. Of course.
Mark,
of course, as usual, you can't.
would you be your darling?
Not wrong, Paul.
My laptop is going through its pre-flight checks.
Time to sleep. Well, if you really need to, Liz, we wouldn't we wouldn't bemoan you the fact that how early you have to get up. So no problem there. No, seriously. Let's see. Folks currently on the Chris was short of Chris Bell. So, but you've just got it, Chris,
sorry.
so yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Right,
No
so
problem.
you're looking life through Mark's eyes. So steady.
Yes.
Be careful. Be careful what you
Is there
say.
anything I should be worried about, Mark?
That's
no.
between the two of you right now, I think. Alright, those who want to hear Sirenscape, there should be something playing for you guys to tune into. In the meantime, what I think I will do then, whilst folks are busy signing in and loading up, I will turn off the ship rumble. And I will turn off the Sirenscape music for just a moment, as I will move us over to our intro video. Give folks time to sign in. So, we'll see you in a couple of seconds, folks. Don't go away. Hello, folks, and welcome along to the continuing adventures of the USS Combs and crew. I'm MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next couple of hours. With me are the valiant crew of the USS Combs. You can't remember what happened? Well, that's fine, Mark. That's what you got me for. Previously on Star Trek Combs, which we will get to in a couple of moments. However, first things first, we check that everybody's signed in. Looks like they are. Everybody who wants to getting Sirenscape music through. Excellente. Then we shall start things off as we tend to by doing our highly necessary plugs. Because first and foremost, Mr. Powell.
Hello, thank you very much. So I do have some very good news in the sense that the script for my feature-length Yakuza 0 review is now complete and editing has begun. So we're in the final stage. It'll still probably take a while because it's going to be a very big video, but you know, we're on the home stretch now. So that's going to be coming out over the next month or so, I imagine. But in the meantime, I still have my backlog of other retro game reviews. Feel free to check those out if you haven't already. Thank you.
Smashing. Looking forward to that. Feature length. Alrighty, and Mr. Bell, if you would.
Yep. As usual, Solarity is up. The entire first season is now fully bingeable. I highly recommend starting at episode 0. I also have Legends of Campion Genesis era. I'm in episodes 2 and 3, playing various characters. I have some more stuff in the pipeline, but unreleased yet, so can't really say too much.
Honestly, it's like he just wants to keep secrets from us. He can't give us the juicy goss. Never mind. Don't worry, folks. I'll take a red hot poker to him at some point and get him to give me all the details we need. Until
this
then,
is brought to you by the letters N, D, and A.
Quite. Okay, so there we have it. Well, in some different news, but related to what we're doing here, we have actually had Nathan Dowding himself, one of the guys behind Star Trek Adventures, giving us some interesting news on what to expect for Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition. And some of it's very, very interesting. So just going here to nworld.org, they've got a brief summary of it here. Earlier this year, Modiphius announced that a new edition of Star Trek Adventures would be launched at Gen Con in August. And this week, system developer Nathan Dowdell unveiled a few more details. In point format, they're going to clean up the rules presentation, which is great because, no offense to the guys at Modiphius, they've done a great job, but finding stuff in the original first edition rules, quite difficult. It's kind of all over the shop. Excuse me. So some tidying up in that regard is entirely necessary to help, especially us games masters, make rules adjudications so that we know where to find the bits we need. And apparently there are a couple of more little things. So let's get to Mr. Dowding's a bit more refined explanation. They've got years more experience now, not only with Star Trek Adventures, but with their other 2D20 systems to refine and improve on mechanics and explain and present it on the page. And thankfully, for those of us who've got like the PDFs and want to print out, the next ones are going to be coming with white pages on black text, not the other way around. My printer thanks you, Nathan. Stuff they introduced in the Player's Guide and the Games Master's Guide a few years ago are being worked into the core rules now, including the acclaim and reputation system that we use, which is the alternative version that was introduced in the Klingon core rulebook. So they're apparently putting that properly into the rules now, so yay! They're going to give expanded guidance on and use of the traits mechanic, something which apparently not many people fully get or don't fully utilize, so there's going to be more to do with traits. And as such, characters are now going to have a handful of extra traits to help define their character's place in the universe. So, cool. And this is the bit that really interests me. No more challenge dice. That's gonna be weird. No more challenge dice. So damage in combat has been revised to account for this change, as have things like extended tasks and other such things that use challenge dice pretty much. So it's going to be interesting for things like Hopkins's veteran talent, which of course allows Liz to roll a challenge dice to see if she gets the expenditure of a determination point back or not, thanks to having the veteran, or indeed like with a chief engineer character who can roll a challenge dice to see if they can reduce the amount of power a power necessary ship function takes. So if they're getting rid of challenge dice, how are we going to take care of those? So all very interesting. They're going to give, I quote, punchier, more evocative talents. They're going to tweak character talents across the board and make them more interesting and dramatic. So, and it'll help rebalance species and avoid situations like Betazoids and Klingons who have to take, quote, mandatory talents. So there we go. And revised starship mechanics. They haven't mentioned combat there, but one imagines it's going to have to be. So, I mean, I'll be the first to admit combat in Star Trek Adventures as is. A little bit clunky, but it's what we've got. Besides which, this isn't a combat-centric system anyway, so you can kind of forgive them a little bit for that. But stuff coming on the horizon for Star Trek Adventures version 2. So, all very interesting. And they assure us that all previous adventures and episodes and things that they've released for us to use are still compatible with the new version, which is great, so we will see how things develop there. In the meantime, back to our little corner of Star Trek Adventures. So, if you recall, last week, after doing a load of finishing off of scientific projects and starting off a couple more, or looking to start off a couple more, made a good few changes to the Combs, so that she's a bit more hardy now, so it has had a number of extra battle-related ship systems put in, replacing some of the ones that they thought they could do without. So the Combs is looking quite hardy for an Intrepid class now. Nevertheless, with this hardier version of the Combs ready and able, the crew were dispatched to Ceti Alpha V to aid in the evacuation of a scientific outpost there. The scientists who were working on Ceti Alpha V, for whatever reason, requested evacuation due to increased levels of seismic disturbance on the planet, which means that it's now too dangerous for them to remain there. Ceti Alpha V, of course, is a mostly sand-blasted desert of a planet, and therefore is inimical to most forms of life, except for the one native life form that did survive, which the crew of the Combs had a bit of an encounter with. The little eel creatures that worm their way along in the sand and have a nasty habit of laying things in your ears. But after meeting with the head of the science teams there and getting the evacuation underway, and after dealing with the attack by the eel creatures, it turns out that there's one science team left outstanding, and they had gone to investigate a series of subterranean ruins that had been opened up by the recent seismic disturbances going on. Now, because of the disturbance in the atmosphere that makes it a little difficult to transport down, it also impacts communications a little bit. So the leader of the scientific teams, Lieutenant Saban, asked the Combs crew, who went down to the planet's surface, to try and see if they can locate the missing science team so that they can be evacuated too. And so it was, after some discussion, elected that the Guicha would be taken, since she doesn't have as much evacuation capacity, let's say, as a standard Type 6 shuttlecraft. So the Guicha is being used to sweep northwards, which was where the team was last seen heading, in order to try and find said small team of scientists and attempt to extract them. So, one of the last things we did before sweeping over a small outpost, which was logged in the computer as the remnants of the Botany Bay, we have since found the end of the beacon trail that marks waypoints that the scientists would use to enable them to find their way back to main camp. And there are, according to the Guicha's sensors, evidence of a cave and subterranean tunnel systems ahead, but the ground is not hospitable, neither is the weather, for the Guicha to go too much further. So the Guicha has to land, and the away team are going to have to try and see if they can proceed on foot. But before they get the chance to, the Guicha's external sensors registered life signs. Lots of small life signs outside. And so that's where we left things. Now, before we jump straight back into the action, have I forgotten something, or does somebody have a question that they need, or something they need reminding of? Hopefully, Mark, that answers all your questions about what happened last time.
Yep, thank you very much.
Spiffing. So, with no further questions, let's move ourselves over. So, we have managed to put ourselves down in a small, semi-sheltered, not exactly a gorge, but it's kind of a what may have once been a river that ran through this area that has long since dried up. Gives you semi-shelter to put down the Guicha. But of course, we're met with the interesting issue of there being life forms outside. And it doesn't take a genius to imagine what those life forms might be. Now, you did, if I recall, manage to at least capture one of these native life forms, and you haven't yet given it a full examination yet. So if you want to, before you venture outwards, now would probably be a good time to examine your live specimen.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. Now, since you are examining a life form, this will probably fall under the purview of Dr. Sott, but also science, so Gurkau could probably assist you too.
Cool.
I mean, xenobiology is a focus that Gurkau has, and therefore can use. None of Dr. Sott's focuses really apply here, but his medical knowledge obviously is quite substantial, therefore either Gurkau or Sott would be a good one to either lead or assist, so it's up to you guys how you want to do this.
What were your focuses again? Maybe you lead with the xenobiology. Oh, actually, medicine's one. You can use science though, can't you, for this?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Depends on if you want to did the reading.
So, let me just check. What attribute will be used for this, sorry?
In all likelihood, medicine, because you are examining a biological creature.
I mean, between, like, perhaps insight or reason.
This is gonna be definitely reason.
Then Dr. Sott should lead.
Reason, medicine.
Yeah. If people are happy with me taking 1 point of momentum to do the reading.
Go. Sure.
I'll do that. Any potential complications that could happen? Like
no.
we squished the bug too much? Okay.
Unless you do manage to roll a complication, then yes. But that's for if such a thing happens, rather than there's no increase in complication range. No, it's a standard. This will be difficulty 1.
Okay, I'll just roll my assist first then.
Oh, that was close, Dr. Sott.
Yeah,
and that was close as well, Lieutenant Gurkau.
Her dice knocked mine onto a 3. Does that count?
Right. So it's Connie's fault, I see.
No, it saved my roll.
No, that's fine. You got 1 success. So you basically slap the live specimen you've got down on like a bioscanner. Being a Klingon ship, it's got a pretty narrow, crude one, but it's still workable. Nonetheless, what do you discover? Well, as has been noted previously, this is a native life form to the place, but due to the fact that it seems adapted to basically burrow through loose earth and sand, it makes sense why this is the one creature that has seemed to survive the cataclysm that laid waste to the majority, if not the entirety, pardon me, of the planet and its life forms. as has already been noted, by the time you fought them, even though they got like a segmented body that looked like it's separated out into like armor plates, they're not actually all that armored. It's more kind of rubbery, but strong and kind of elastic. So it gives you the impression that these segmented plates that run all the way from their basically neck all the way down to the point of the tail is used to allow them to burrow at surprising high speeds underneath loose dirt, soil and sand. They do have eyes in the sides of their heads, which is interesting for a subterranean creature, suggesting that they do hunt using sight to a degree, and indeed the scan of their eyes reveal that they do seem to hunt by infrared. But there's a lot of nerves at the ends of their segmented plates, or rather the ridges that they use to propel themselves through the ground. So it suggests that they are sensitive to vibration, probably to try and pick up creatures walking on the terrain that they themselves burrow through. And then when they're closer, they use their infrared sight to be able to detect heat sources, which suggests they are carnivorous. One thing that is very interesting, two things that are very interesting about their biology though. One is their massive like pincer mandibles. They have a very almost diamond hard keratinous tip, which can be used to puncture through even an EVA suit's protection. But what's fascinating about them is that they have got this kind of venom gland inside of these pincers, which have an extremely high nerve conduction. What that basically means is the moment that the pincers break the skin and the venom injects, the nerve induction is so fast that the individual getting bitten is already paralyzed before they realize they've been bitten. Now, it's the paralysis nature of it that makes it rather weird, which suggests that these creatures hunt by paralyzing a creature in similar ways to like a spider does, and then just eats them. But it does appear that they have pouches inside of these segmented ridges for delivering offspring. But even if that's the case, there's nothing in their biology to suggest that this small creature does indeed give birth to young. So these things certainly appear able to carry young in between their ridge plates, but there's no actual birthing sacs or ovaries or anything like that you can make out of in this small creature's biology. So it's not clear how they reproduce.
Given that we saw it try to go for someone's face last time.
Yes.
Kind of a alien. kind of.
Well, yes. Consulting some data on it. There is previous Starfleet experience or Federation experience with these creatures, and those who have actually come away and made note of them have noted that these creatures apparently lay their young inside the ears or some such similar orifice to the individual they paralyze, so that their young may gestate inside and very close to the cerebellum of the target creature. So they essentially become hosts to the young who are delivered in this fashion. So, a very strange and very complex organism. And yes, more than a little icky, because, you know, lay something in your head. You know, ew.
Folks, keep your EVA suits on. That's all I can say.
Yes, I will be.
So, with all of that information on the creatures that are a potential threat to you, like I noted, there are life signs outside in the area that I am pinging now.
So... disruptor cannons?
Now, do we call that overkill or just enough kill?
Good preparation.
Let's just bombard the entire area and see what lives.
Can we fire photon torpedoes from the ground?
Absolutely, you can. It just depends on how much of a blowback you think the creature can tolerate.
Can I ask you?
Hold on to that thought, then, Dave. Yes, Liz.
I mean, the creature doesn't have photon torpedoes yet.
So there's that. Yes. Dave, what were you going to say?
I'm just going to suggest probably a less violent method to the rest of my crew.
Please.
This creature we have in, do we know if it's got any like weaknesses to, you know, sound, light, you know, tremors or anything else? Has it got some kind of weakness we can use from the breach out before getting out?
As far as weaknesses to something goes, at the moment it doesn't appear that they have any specific vulnerability to anything, but they do appear to have receptors that indicate they hunt by tracking vibrations in the ground and by the heat given off by a living organism.
Disruptor cannons would make a lot of vibration.
And heat.
Yeah. Just set the disruptor cannons to stun.
Well,
so, hang on.
Oh, no, I was going to say, how about instead of like shooting at these things, how about we shoot off away from the breach out and where we want to go, so they go and follow that?
What do people think? That's an interesting idea.
Yes, no, my joke aside, I am 100% down for the, you know, non-violent solution.
Preservation of life and all of that. So, fire off the disruptor cannons a distance away so that they react to the vibration and the heat given off. What do other people think? Sound like a plan?
Yes, I think it's nowhere near where we think the survivors may be.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Alright.
Well, yeah, between us and not between us and where we think the survivors are going to be. That'd be bad.
That'd be asking
off to the side. Yeah.
Somewhere off that away. Right, gotcha.
Can I just point out, even though I have suggested a non-violent approach, I do like the violent approach too.
The less horrible little things we have to deal with, the better. Nevertheless, preservation of life. We come in peace. You, however, come in pieces. Alright, it seems folks seem pretty game for the distraction method. So, this will be a case of firing the cannons on the Gleecher off a certain distance away, allowing the away team to then quickly hightail it away from this area. So, I am going to give you the guys the chance to earn a teeny bit more momentum by trying to calculate the best possible place to fire this. I reckon the best ones for calculating that are more than likely going to be Garrow and Hopkins. So let's go with reason and security from both Hopkins and Garrow for this to see if you can pinpoint the most useful place to fire the cannons that's not too far away, but not so close that you risk these things turning around and coming back at you when they find out that it was a diversion.
So survival or phases would be good focus, or?
I will allow survival, actually, because that allows you to judge distance and response times from creatures, so survival sounds fine to me. As for Hopkins, let's go with shipboard tactical systems would be a good focus to have, since you would then be able to calculate, you know, distance, yield, kind of thing.
Are we both rolling two, or...?
One assist, one direct, of course. Usual thing. if Flesk wants to get in on the action just to make sure that you can use parent figure.
Yeah, I'm here if you need me.
Especially because that was a 17. Garrow's like worms. How do worms work? Over there. At which point Hopkins is like, oh, very, very helpful there. Garrow, thanks for that. We'll aim for maybe here. Okay. So between the two of them, wow! Look at all those no successes.
Eyes closed and yeah. Over there.
I'm for there. Right. Pew pew pew. So yes, you gain a momentary bit of altitude. You tilt the axis of the Gweechar. You fire off a couple of salvos and then land the thing as quickly as possible. Of course, it takes time to then land it, to put it into standby mode, to get everyone to re-engage their EVA suits, and then to activate the external ramp, let's say, so that you can get out. So you don't know how much time you have before these creatures turn around and come back.
I've got another idea.
Ooh.
We've got a hover sled, haven't we?
You've got an anti-grav sled, yes you do, but it's only so big, and there's 6 of you?
Can we fit 4 and have the other 2 running behind?
Behind and pushing it.
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, I'll let the rest of the team, like... But
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know, the less noise we make, less vibrations, the better.
So what I'm hearing is Tavish, Flesk, Gurkha, and the Doc are on the sled.
Yes.
And
Sorry,
that
Amanda.
means Garrow and Hopkins are the ones pushing the sled. Gotcha. Okie dokie. The EMD also gives a wave and says, I'm coming too, right?
Yeah, but you fly, so that doesn't count.
Oh, exactly. Of course. How silly of me.
How about you actually let Flesk take you? Because we don't know how strong the winds are going to be out there and stuff.
Let Flesk take me? I'm a doctor, not a carry-on.
If he's flying, but also seems to trigger the things attacking him, why do we have him in front?
Excuse me? What am
Yeah,
I,
you make
bait?
it- Yes, very much so.
I'm
object.
telling.
They can't hurt you.
You don't know that.
I'm thinking that. Yeah, but what I'm suggesting is him taking off his hollow emitters, you taking the device Flesk, and you holding on to it. We do not know what the weather is like out there. We don't know how dangerous it's going to be, and I do not want to lose our EMH.
Well, at least somebody is thinking of my well-being. Very well, I will cease my emitter, and you can carry me like so much luggage.
Oh, yay. A little bit of quiet.
Excuse me, deactivate him quick. So for the moment, the EMD is just the basic, the device itself now.
Could you have at least fixed this bedside matter before you put it in? Jeez.
Alright, you've only got so much time now. There's 4 people crammed onto an anti-grav sled with no handholds, I might note. And then Garrow and Hopkins are going to be the one pushing this at relative speed, whilst also trying to be quiet. This is going to be interesting. Can I get, again, Hopkins and Garrow to give me fitness and security, please? This is going to be difficult too, because this is going to be you trying to go quietly but quickly.
Okay. Possible survival again?
You're
Yes,
taking the lead
actually.
on this one. Unless your fitness is under an 8.
Okay, so that was a yes on survival, yeah.
That was a yes on survival, and his fitness is 10, so...
Yeah, you're leading.
Alright then.
Oh, okay, so that's 2 dice on mine then. Yeah.
2 dice on yours, 1 dice on Hopkins. Everyone else is just going to be holding on, and let's hope you don't hit a bump.
Sorry, 1 dice, was it? Or...
2 dice for you,
No,
my
don't.
dear boy.
Okay, 2, okay.
Ooh, I saw that as 20, but with a 2! Nice! And
Okay,
3 successes
that's it.
in total, which means you got 1 over what you needed. Woof! Okay. So, everyone piles awkwardly onto the anti-grav sled. The other 2 get in the back and start to push. Now, obviously, it's anti-grav, but the thing is now the anti-grav impellers on the sled are trying to accommodate the fact that there are 4 people's worth of directed weight. So it's kind of bobbing along just above the ground, and so there's no friction or resistance or anything like that. It's quite an easy push, but as a result, it's almost too easy a push, and it's very easy to overbalance or overpush if you're not prepared for it. Thankfully, with a combination of half Klingon endurance and Garrow's ability to recognize problem patches of ground before they become a problem, you do manage to make your way down this gully without spilling the contents of your sled. There's a brief moment where just off to the westward horizon, Garrow catches sight of a couple of tufts and plumes of sand that go off that suggest that you have burrowing creatures moving somewhere towards your direction. But as you pick up speed, you lose sight of it, and you don't end up getting attacked by any creatures anytime soon. And so, after a couple of tense moments of wondering whether or not they're going to erupt from the ground underneath you, nothing happens. So you manage to eventually make your way out of the gully. Now, following the sensor scans that the Gwich'ar have made about the likely direction that you'll find the cave system that you're looking for, you do eventually come upon a mountainside, and as you are coming up on it, you can definitely see equipment, containers, and even temporary spotlights have been set up at the entrance to a cave. But what you notice is it's not just a cave entrance, there's obvious signs of some kind of stoneworked construction that's gone on, that's been revealed by these tremors. So it definitely seems like the science teams were onto something. There's definitely evidence of some kind of archaeological ruin of some sort. Elements, of course, have not been kind, but this seems very good indication that your missing science team had at least gone as far as setting up their initial foray.
Let's have a look. What kind of equipment have they got though? Is it working?
Well, most of it's still packed in boxes and crates. So you find things like sample containers, mineralogical scanners. You've got these 2 spot floodlights, which can be used to illuminate the entranceway, of course. Basic science equipment for archaeology, I can't even say it. Mineralogy and geology. But like I said, not much of it looks like it's been unpacked, so it looks, to all intents and purposes, like they didn't get very far with their preparations. But there is a definite entranceway here, flanked by the worn-down ruin of what used to be some kind of statuary flanking either side of this doorway, or entranceway.
let's go on in.
Alrighty. Let's just change the ambience here a little bit. And inside we go. When you do enter inside, what you notice is the ruination. The majority of the weather hasn't gotten inside, but it seems the passage of time and the various seismic eruptions have not been kind to this internal structure of this place. Interestingly enough, the statuary that you find in this place appear humanoid in shape. Very tall humanoids. Unfortunately, they're so either smashed or corroded by the passage of time and wear that it's difficult to make out any definite detail in these tall humanoid statues.
Just want to move him.
Okay.
Scan everything.
Scan everything. Anything in particular you're looking for?
These humanoid statue thingies. See how long ago exactly, if we can.
Alright, so if anyone here has got any kind of mineralogical or geological focus, that would be certainly to your advantage. Let's have a quick check through your focuses, folks. Have a look. Excuse me a second while I sneeze. Oops. Anybody who wants to can make a reason and science check.
Okay, reason and science. And if anyone wants to help.
Yep,
Are we doing the check? Like everyone doing it?
Is it a team
no, you
effort
can
or
cooperate.
individual? Yeah, let's
Cooperate if you want.
Teamwork is the dream work.
It's close. It's not
We'll
bad.
do a system.
Okay. Not bad all round. One success, one success, one success. So, fairly good. Alright, so these depictions of humanoids in statuary form, they are very tall. They don't have this. They don't appear to have the same number of fingers, but that could be as much from them breaking off as anything else. What is interesting, though, is that there are crystals at points, kind of laden, carved or stylized into some of these archways that support the statues. These crystals appear to be shaped almost to look as if they were living flame, but they are emitting a light source, the power source for which you can't quite determine, but seems to be coming from further down in this complex. And according to your scans, there's definitely more tunnels and such to this complex.
Are we able to remove one of the crystals?
You can try.
Yeah, I'd like to try, see if we can use it as a light source if need to be. Or if
How
it just-
are you going to remove it?
Ooh, I guess we might just grab it and pull.
Grab it and
What tools
pull.
do we have?
Alright then, Flask and anybody else who wants to assist. This is going to be a fitness.
Oh,
I'm going to make this fitness and science.
fitness and science.
Okay, I'll assist.
Okie dokie.
Guess I can't really use persuasion to try and persuade it out of there. Physical
I-
persuasion.
I'd be more worried if you could, actually.
Can I use focus of hand-to-hand combat.
Ooh, that's good.
From the statue's hand to mine.
I'll say yes, because, you know, we've established that Gurkha knows how to handle herself, and she's got pretty solid fists. So, whoop, 2 successes from the Flask. No successes from Gurkha. So it turns out, learning how to punch, and punch very well, does nothing for your ability to pull a crystal light source out of stone. However, with Flask taking a somewhat more delicate approach, you do kind of use like leverage to try and pull back on the thing, and you do break a piece of this crystal off, at which point it just goes out.
Oh.
So you've still got the crystal in your hand, but it's now inert. There's no light coming from it.
We'll put that in the pocket to examine later on the ship.
So what you've learned from this is that the thing needs to be powered by a constant flow of power coming from whatever was powering it. Now that you've snapped the thing off, you can see almost circuit-like tracery of some kind of, you imagine, conductive crystalline material that seems to be very, very meticulously woven into the stonework behind the light source. So, in fact, are we missing somebody? Nope, Tavish is down there. In fact,
oh yeah, Tavish needs to be moved.
Circuitry appears familiar. Accessing visual memory.
Tavish hears that voice in her head again. And all of a sudden, Tavish suddenly finds herself remembering going back to the various Tilical ruins on the different planets that you visited, without you even trying to. You just find yourself suddenly remembering them. At which point, you remember landing on the numerous times that you've examined the mineralogical and power complement of these things, including on the artificial satellite that you were at recently. And the voice in your head, the AI attached to your cerebellum, has indeed hit upon something. The tracery that seems to be conducting power to that light crystal does appear very, very similar to the means of power conduction you've seen in other Tilical? No. Blech. Other ancient alien... Where did I pull that from? That's a good word, actually. I think I'll keep that. Excuse me a second, let me write this down. That's a good word, I'll keep that for you. You didn't just love it when you come up with weird words and you think, that actually sounds quite good now that I mentioned it. I'm keeping that for later. There you go, the voice in Tavish's head has now given us... has given us a new word.
How much do publishers pay for something like
that? Too much, I think. I just spewed nonsense from my mouth, and apparently... There we are.
So Tavish is just going to say... they're the same... I've just been told that... and just made to remember that we've scanned these before. These are very similar to the ancient civilization
that you've been coming across recently.
That we've been coming across recently, and I've been investigating. I would like to point out that was, well, I remembered, but it was also help from Nil.
Indeed.
And she has a nickname now, so...
She's got a nickname now, Nil. Cool.
Nil.
That's cool, because that means, like, she's 0, and you are 1.
Yeah. It's inevitable.
So, With that knowledge, you might be able to trace the power, the power system to its source if you wanted to.
I'm going to.
Yeah, let's find a way rather than wandering down lost.
So those who want to can work together to give me a control and engineering check with any focuses on power systems and related stuff to trace the power.
Do control and engineering. That was this with 1.
This will be difficulty 1 since you've already established that you've encountered such before and know what you're looking for.
Oh, I have a focus in power systems. So.
Yes, you do. Generic power systems now.
Whee.
7! Very good. Tavish. Well, that means, since Mark has already rolled, how about, Liz, could you be Tavish for a moment, please, and roll control and engineering for us with a focus? Since you're the only one who has... With power systems, yes. And can you? Ooh, look at that! One end of the spectrum. 2 ends of the spectrum, I should say, almost. So far, we've been kissing up against 20s, but not quite getting there. So this is making me sweat a little bit here. Ooh, but very good. 3 successes in total, which means you've got a very definite, strong read on the the power systems, and there is indeed some kind of strong power signature coming from further down. And it does appear that close to where Hopkins is at, there does appear to be a big set of doors that you can try and open in order to get further into the complex.
Hopkins
You also
smash her way through.
Well, as you look around, you notice what appears to be some kind of like control panel. It's eroded, so any of the actual any hieroglyphs or whatever, or a boot kick might do, if you really want to go that way. Kick in the door. Either way, it's not difficult to open the door. You can either jam a dagger or a bat'leth into the divide between the doors and wedge them open, or you can fiddle around with the control panel.
I'll ask a question.
Of course.
Have we seen signs of the away team in here?
Ooh,
The science team, sorry.
Another good question. Someone who could answer that would probably be Garrow, with assistance from Dr. Sott. So, Garrow using survival to try and pick up tracks, Sott using tricord in order to try and pick up evidence of life forms having moved through here. So, let's have Garrow giving me reason and security, with Sott also giving us control and medicine, please. I'll let you guys decide who's leading and who's following.
I can assist on this one.
Yeah, and you said security on this one, yeah.
Okay, so, yep, it's
set
reason and security for Garrow, 2 dice.
Yep. And I can use survival on this one.
And you can use survival on this one. And Sott uses control and medicine. Cool. 1 dice.
Oh,
nice. And nice. Okay. Now, it's no surprise that Sott's tricorder doesn't pick up much, because if the science team came through here and they were sensible, they probably still had their EVA suits on. Nevertheless, weather blowing in from outside and anyone tracking the weather in from outside would leave traces, and Garrow can confirm that there are drifts and pockets of sand that suggest cast-offs by those who came in from outside. There's even evidence near to the door controls over here that somebody utilised the door controls to go further in.
I'm just trying to make sure that our actually primary mission to get the science team is we're not just exploring. I'm not just going, oh look, pretty things.
Little word of advice, because there may be some pockets of sand and everything around. Everyone, please be careful while moving around in here.
And
As Garros says that,
he's going to kick in the door.
I mean, if there's any slight trace, I don't want everyone disturbing it.
Pumpkin's boot kicks. Honey, I'm home.
BAM! The doors fly open. And yes, there's a very cavernous boom that just rings down through the downward sloping tunnel that you find on the other side. What you do notice, however, is that you can feel earth vibrations underneath your feet, even through your EVA suit boots. And it becomes even more prominent as you start making your way down this declining tunnel. Like the entrance hall that you just came through, there's evidence of things like statuary, traceries of hieroglyphics and pictographs on the walls, as well as more functional, what appear to be power conduits woven into the place. A mixture of stone and crystalline and other metallic minerals too. Very, very similar to stuff you've seen before, except for the fact that these are, like most in this place, eroded. There's a moment where you all have to steady yourselves as you feel a further earth tremor, kind of. It doesn't shake things exactly, but it does rumble through the place. As you go down this declining tunnel, you do meet a portion of it, which I will take you to now, that bears a number of large holes that have been essentially bored through. So the entire shall I say, worked or manufactured tunnel that you're following suddenly becomes more rubble strewn and more natural looking, as if something just came through the wall and then burrowed through the other side. Thank you, Mark. Yes, yeah, potentially. Either lots of small somethings made these tunnels, or something very large made these tunnels. Of particular note, however, comes when you enter this area and you notice more than a small amount of very clear silken threads that stretch from one side to another, resembling earth arachnid webbing, but on a much bigger scale. So there are numerous patches of what look like web.
Did anybody check if the specimen we had were the kids?
Well,
Or
the specimen...
were they actually... No.
Go on, sorry Liz, I talked over you there.
Did it reach puberty yet?
As far as you could tell from the cursory medical examination you gave of that creature that you had examined back on the Guichar, that was a fully grown example of itself. But interestingly enough, there was no sign of any webbing sacs or anything like that in that particular creature.
I am both relieved and more concerned.
Nevertheless, there does appear to be a clear path forward, even through all this webbing and burrowed tunnels. That there does appear to be what's left of the steps leading further downwards towards this area. But as you pass, within the strands of webbing, you think you can see evidence of various mummified animal carcasses. It's a bit difficult to tell because most of them have fallen apart with time. Cut, back left got you. So Hopkins is cutting a path through the webs. All of these animal corpses are way too desiccated and way too old and brittle, however, to give a definitive picture of what they might have been once.
So they're not fresh, so the science team may still be around.
Indeed, yes. Now, the EMD at that point has reactivated itself and is busy having a look around. Fascinating. Oh, wait for me!
No. Do any of these structures come up in anything similar in these in my memories?
Accessing visual memory. No matches as of yet.
Thank you, no. Am I,
You are most
when I
welcome,
talk
Lily.
Sorry.
I'm not.
I'm sorry, I'm still getting used to this. You know, anytime I'm speaking, am I speaking out loud or am I speaking in my head to...
That's entirely up to you to decide.
You know what? I'll do it out loud for the moment. I feel like Lily hasn't got the hang of talking in her head to Nil yet.
That makes sense. Lily Tavish has never been the one I picture ever having an internal monologue.
No, not really.
However, let me also point out that any time Lily is having a conversation, it's a very one-sided one you guys are hearing.
Also, I'm gonna put something down on my tricorder is to check the fact that she has access to my memories.
Why would I not have access to your memories? I function better that way. Do you not want me to know him?
No, I do.
Then this action has me confused, Lily. How am I to interpret your thought patterns when I cannot seem to piece together whether or not you are grateful for my presence?
I am grateful for your presence.
And yet you wish to monitor me?
No, I don't. I just want to.
Oh, you merely wish assistance. I see.
No, I just want to, understand you so we can understand each other better.
I see.
We're all listening and going, what?
Matt, you're having way too much fun with it.
What was your first clue? Anybody watching the stream at this point also sees the enormous grin on my face, but you know. You could probably hear it as well, but there we are. Meanwhile, the EMD is busy scanning Tavish up and down.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I like how I accidentally said I was on Tavish.
I know. Tavish is probably asking herself if she's okay at this point. Oh, bloody hell, what have I done?
I'm fine, I'm just talking to Nil. It's fine.
Fascinating, says the EMD. Not exactly what one would call a split personality, but fascinating nonetheless.
enough from you. Anyway, carry on.
Well, anyways, onward.
Enough out of you. Down we go. Further down, further down. Okay. Further down, and we start coming across an area that looks a lot more like chamber that has got, you know, a lot of right angles and cuts. It seems to have survived the detritus, or not becoming detritus. Is detritus even the word I should be using there? Probably not. That's survived most of the erosion. Of particular note, however, yes, go on.
Just to point out that Lily actually can't hardly move.
Yeah, it's just like jammed in a wall for some reason.
Oh,
yeah.
Give me a sec. Oh, yes, so you are. Beg your pardon. Yeah. There we go.
Thank you.
So there are numerous ruins of things in here that look like they might have had use at some point. Something that resembles desks. Something that even resembles like a power transfer conduit. Of particular interest, however, when Hopkins goes past this area, and that Flesk is very close to at the moment, is hang on, if I can just find my notes here. You find murals on the walls that suggest star constellations. Not only are there star constellations, there are also lines being drawn between each of these star clusters.
What on earth was that?
What on earth was what?
Did anyone else hear that?
What's up?
Nope, just me. It must have been something in my headset. Like, it sounds like someone slapping something.
No, I'm not getting slapping. If only you were getting slapping, but I don't want to ask what's going on in your house at the moment. But
nothing that exciting, unfortunately.
No, I didn't get anything.
I'll be right back. I'm just going to see what the hell that noise was downstairs.
Okay. Either way, as Tavish and Flesk pass this particular section of wall that has these like star clusters depicted on the walls, Tavish once again gets a nod.
Accessing visual archive. Hardly. Memory. Accessing visual memory.
Tavish once again feels her memories suddenly spring to life as she's sifting through things like star charts that she's seen before, just by moving past maybe the helmsman's control for a couple of moments to see a star system plotted in, or the times that you've gone past stellar cartography and have watched them mapping routes through systems. Nevertheless, these memories are being jumped from one to the next to the next to the next until you finally settle once again on being inside of that large monolith on Bacchus 4. And Tavish's memory focuses on the point where everyone was looking at the 3D representation, excuse me, the 3D representation of what looked like stars in the Shackleton Expanse. And as Tavish's memory kind of zeroes in on that, Tavish also then finds herself looking at the depictions of star clusters on these murals, and they do seem to match up in places.
Liddy will turn around and go, we've seen these before. They are of the Shackleton Expanse, or star clusters in the Shackleton Expanse. Just for everyone's input, well, just for everybody to know, again, Nil is on top of this.
I am neither on top nor
again.
beneath, but... Oh, wait a minute. Accessing colloquialisms. Oh, I see. Thank you.
So, yeah.
Well, for those who are now looking at these murals with, in a new light, they do indeed look like star clusters that do match up to some of the star systems you've noticed in the Expanse. And there are, it seems, these lines, almost like pathways or some such, drawn between different systems in the Expanse. One thing that strikes you, however, is if this is such an accurate depiction of star systems in an area of space, there are little depictions here and there of humanoid figures dotted about the place, suggesting perhaps the people who made this star chart in the first place. You don't see... Sorry, go on.
I would say, have we been able to use any of our tricorders to scan for life forms? Like, have we detected the missing scientists?
Nobody has tried that yet, but the tracks that you weren't actually following tracks, you were following power signature. So, if somebody wants to,
yeah,
they can do that now. But before you do, I will draw attention to this little snippet of information that you get. Now, the fact that you've got little pictograms of humanoid figures and star clusters, and folks depicted on each of these star clusters, these system clusters, there are no images of craft of any kind. You see the odd depiction of the five-sided monoliths here and there, but you don't see anything that would suggest, like, even metaphorical representations of conveyance through the stars.
We have seen that they can teleport to other galaxies, so we must assume they can teleport to other star systems.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good theory.
No problem, Chris. Alright then. Now, a note was made about scanning for life forms. So anybody who wants to use a tricorder to do a control and medicine task to check for life signs?
Oh, not
Nope.
I got 4 on medicine, so might be okay.
Sure.
yeah, go for it.
Anybody who wants to sing the Scanning for Life life signs song with me can feel free to do so.
Does someone want to be Dr. Sot, as he's also got 5 medicine?
Connie, do you want to take over Dr. Sot for a minute?
Just wondering if someone wants to take over the EMD as well.
That would not be That would not be a bad idea.
Is this teamwork makes the dream work, or is it solo?
Definitely teamwork.
Okay.
Unless you want to do it singularly, of course, as a competition to see who can detect life forms first.
If anyone has a higher medicine thing than I do, then take the lead.
Sot. And then
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assist, and I don't think I have anything on the Bugsy, so I'll roll.
No problem. I'll keep the number to myself. That's not bad at all. Okie spooky do.
Oh, shall I do the... what's it? The EMD?
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, it's absolutely no focus that's applicable. There's nothing I can do.
Took its time, but we finally got a.
It's been teasing you all night long. 2 successes and a complicated. Okay. So, scanning for life forms, you do get a return on your tricorders that suggest that there are life signs a little further into the complex, not far from where you are now. The only trouble is that there's something preventing you from getting an exact fix. And considering what you guys are probably seeing over yonder way, that I'm pinging now, it's no surprise what that interference might be. The erosion of time and the seismic disturbances of this planet and everything else seems to have done quite a bit of damage to this place, compared to the good nick that you found other such ancient civilization sites as these. So the fact that you've got this very big, very obvious exposed power conduit, which is sparking and fizzling with random crackles, could very well be one of the many things that are causing interference on your tricorders, stopping them from getting a precise fix. The strength and the strength of the signal, however, seems to indicate that close by, maybe.
Tavish, should you and I try and remove the signal block?
Yeah, let's try that.
Because the way ahead, the easiest way ahead seems to be along this ledge by here, but it is a bit treacherous, and anybody who falls down this part ends up in the sparky bit of death.
Right.
We do not want to go in the sparky bit of death.
Do we have to go that way to try and tinker with Sparky Death and try and suppress it?
Well, that depends on how you think you want to do it.
Ooh.
Where's the sled?
You've still got the sled. Last I saw.
We got some engineering toolkits.
Yep.
Why are they figuring that out? Can
What have I got?
see if the Sparky Wall of Death has any like crispy remains of Star Trek uniforms?
Ah,
In case.
good question. You don't see anything that would suggest somebody dressed in an EVA suit fell and got immolated by it. Given the strength of the energetic output, it would, anyone who lands in that would definitely at least leave a corpse.
So no red suits then.
So no
Okay.
red suits, no obvious bodies, no. So the good news is there's no sign that somebody has already fallen into this. So yeah, you're good for that. What was the phaser damage?
That was
for?
me trying to read stuff. Trying to say ignore that. That was not
You,
meant to be clear.
you accidentally hit that. I thought you were throwing the phaser in to see if it would detonate the...
That's where I'm going with this, is that
Yeah.
Tavish and I adjust a phaser
Yes.
to try and not
No,
blast
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll adjust the
Adjust
phaser.
frequency. Yeah, we adjust the phaser to change whatever electrical interference is being generated to try and suppress it. So just counteract it with a equal but opposite electromagnetic waveform.
So try and complement its dissonance wave with a resonance wave. Okay. Check me out and my Star Trek gabble. Go on, Dave.
All I heard was we were going to do things to phasers.
That's all Tavish needed to hear. Let me get in on this action.
God.
Lily, you appear a bit blasé with safety procedures. Is this something I should add to my heuristic algorithms?
No. Maybe. I'm not too sure at the moment. Just watch.
Watch and learn.
Very well. I shall merely observe.
Thank you, Neil.
Is it? I'm going to try to see, because what we're going to be rolling to try and attempt this silliness.
Well, this sounds like either reason and science or reason and engineering. Probably engineering, considering you're going to be rejigging something.
Okay, if it's reason engineering, I'll roll for it as lead. I'm trying to see if I've got because power systems or deflector shield, force field technology wouldn't be a relevant focus.
I don't have any focus, but I am willing to spend a determination.
Oh, go for it. So what I was going to try and do.
Yes, Connie.
Sorry, I'm just, spying on everyone's focuses. But would Garrow's phases and survival focus help? Or one or the other?
We're just adjusting it now, or are we going to adjust and fire?
You could do it into in a kind of a gateway task. One leads to the other, so one is can you make the adjustment, and the second lot is making the adjustment. So let's do that first. Let's do the reason and engineering first to see if you can. And based on that hypothesis...
Alright, reason, engineering... Don't really have a focus for it.
Can we get... Mr. Powell, could you be Tavish whilst Mark is being Flesk? We're doing reason and engineering. Who's leading this?
You.
It's
determination.
Flesk leading
I'll
this.
lead it. I'll lead it, and then Tavish, do you want to spend that determination?
Yeah, mad scientist. Not mad scientist, mad engineer, sorry.
Column A, column B.
So spend that determination.
Spend that determination.
Use determination. Still one dice though, is it?
Still one dice, just check the box saying that you're using...
Gotcha. Thank you.
Indicating that you're using thingamajig. Alright.
Cool.
So it's definitely possible. If you tune the phaser frequency to be able to create resonance to counteract the dissonance, you can definitely temporarily eliminate the sparky circle of death. The trouble is that whatever power source is about is still feeding power into it, so it will gradually come back, but it will give you a window of opportunity where you won't risk falling into your immediate sparky doom.
Yep, I will. Now that we made the adjustments, if we can get Garrow to shoot, and Flesk will assist.
Alright. Garrow gets the chance to shoot something.
Okay.
Because it has to be targeted at the exact center of the electromagnetic emanation in order to counteract it. So this is going to be control and security. With his focus on our faces.
Garrow, just to let you know. Oh.
No, go on. Go on, Dave.
Control.
So it's control and security with your focus on hand phases.
Okie dokie. Two dice.
2 dice. Yep. It's all you, dude.
Oh no,
Garrow, just to let you know, it's not a grenade.
Yeah, don't throw your phaser in.
I'm assisting.
You are assisting.
I'm giving instruction on how to do it.
Okay, so.
And that's why parent figure.
There goes parent figure. Okay, cool. Okay, so having retuned Garrow's phaser, the Type 2 this time rather than the big Type 3, it emits a wide-angle kind of fan of a beam that is coloured less like the usual phaser orange to be more of an electromagnetic sparkly blue. And the phaser's fan of a beam meets the sparking wires of the ruptured energy conduit, and eventually the two do meet in synchronization and cancel each other out. So, is that still there for you people, or has it disappeared? It has gone. Excellent. So, the points of the wires that are jutting out are red from heat. They're starting to cool down a bit, but you don't know how long it's going to stay off for, so you have a limited amount of time to get through this opening. Watching your footing, of course, because the ledge looks like it's a little unstable. So, Garrow and Gurkha were trailing behind a little bit, but you know, you need the strong guys at the back in case somebody falls in.
Gurkha do. That's Gurkha. So Garrow doing a little dance.
Yeah. I am so great. I am so great. Hit it right in the middle. I am so great. Anyway. Yes, pinpoint accuracy is good. Okay. So this tunnel has seen better days, but as you start going down it, you have to go kind of single file. Your the backpacks of your EVA suits kind of scraping noisily along the walls, but you can make it down without squeezing too much. As Hopkins being in the lead, as you start going a little further on, you start noticing light further ahead, and it looks less artificial, more natural, and there's a definite sense of there's obviously more sand, suggesting that whatever's ahead of you is open to the elements. That's when we eventually get to here. Indeed, the chamber you enter into has got a ceiling that is open to the elements above, therefore sunlight is streaming in, along with what would almost liken to be waterfalls of sand pouring in from above. Of note, of course, not only are the shattered pillars and the statuary that once existed, but also the technological components that appear very, very active. There is what looks like a hexagonal console in the middle, very similar to something you've seen before, like on Bacchus 4. This one has a 3D hologrammatic representation of a planet. You think this planet. There are some other glowing devices in the area, but there's also what looks to be some kind of console, but it is sparking with electricity itself. But of particular note, however, are the small group of what look like webbed forms over in the southeastern corner. Almost like body bags, but made up of webbing. At which point, in Tavish's head...
Accessing visual memory. Confirmed. Visual memory access was not acquired. Surprising. These consoles appear very similar to those used and encountered before on sites of this ancient alien civilization that we have been encountering. Sorry, that you have been encountering.
You can say we, I don't mind.
Everyone else just looks back at Tavish. You what?
These these consoles, these are again from the ancient civilization. What we've been coming across them, they are very similar to that. So I'm going to go and have a look at these and see what they do.
Let's say, does Dr. Sott and the EMD want to go save and heal the poor scientist wrapped up in silk?
Yes.
Before the Klingon medicine starts.
Right, so Hopkins' first impression of going over there first is that there are 5 webbed up bodies in total, but the one that she saw first, of course, has got obvious signs of blood spatter, and it looks like there is a large hole in the side of the cranium of that one. It looks like something erupted out. Ooh, what was that? Did Discord cut in and out for everybody just then?
Yeah, you left.
For a second.
You completely went bye-bye.
We were rudderless.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, it
We were
cut out for me for a
causing
second
anarchy.
Alright, so what was the last bit you caught me saying? You don't remember.
Just about this corpse having a bit more going on with the blood spatter.
Yeah, look, there's a big hole in the side of this one's head. So something came out of its cranium. Obviously. There's no life signs from this particular body. But there do appear to be life signs in these remaining 4. So, Dr. Sott and the EMD can do a quick medical survey of these bodies, assisted by Hopkins if they really want to.
I do.
Excellent. So that'll be control and medicine, please. Sorry, I went all quiet there for a sec. I went all introspective there for a moment, and I forgot that you were actually there waiting for me to say something.
Control, medicine. Could I maybe use like emergency medicine or like?
Sure.
Thank you.
Connie, if you want to be the EMD. Emergency medicine applies here too. If Hopkins wants to get in on the action, go to her. Or just trust the doctor to do their thing.
Don't trust them to do their thing.
Okay, cool.
Just gonna come over here and cut open this portion.
Alright. Excuse me a second. Okay, so first things first. The medical team is examining these, well, bodies. And they do... The ones that don't have an enormous hole in their heads do appear to be alive. They're just in some kind of... Not exactly stasis. They're definitely alive and breathing, but they've been bound up in webbing, so they're completely paralyzed. They appear to have some kind of paralytic poison inside of their bodies, preventing them from moving. Something has wrapped them up in webbing and has just stowed them here. They appear to be alive for the moment. With 2 successes, you've got the presence of a tiny life form in the head of each. Using Hopkins' ductag, she cuts the one with a hole in the head, and as she does so and takes some of the webbing away, you see the shattered opening of an EVA helmet and a human underneath, or what's left of the human, because his head basically exploded outwards on one side. It looks like whatever was in his head got in and or out through the ear.
Yeah, that's not good.
Meanwhile, let's move over to the other guys a sec. Tavish and Flesk and Gurkow are each consulting different pieces of weird tech. The one that Gurkow is closest to doesn't seem to be pulsating as much as the one that Flesk is closest to, but is still active and churning with... I mean, the image itself is indicative. It looks almost like one of those plasma balls. So it's got like that kind of circular core with all those bits of electricity, just kind of plasma jumping out from it to meet the sides. Suggests some kind of apparatus that does a bit of work that you're not entirely sure what it does yet. Whereas Flesk gets this slight indication that what he's as closest to might be some kind of power core. Meanwhile, Tavish, well, this console that you're next to is not going to end up being fixed, was not going to be functional until it's fixed, because if you try and use those controls, you're going to get a shock.
I'm going to try and fix that then.
Let's try to reduce the power output, because if it's interacting with the rest of them,
So
just make it safer to use it.
So it sounds like, first of all, we need Gurkow and Flesk to determine what they're working on before they can start determining how they're going to work on it. We've got these guys who have been established as being alive, but currently in paralyzed webbing. Tricorder scan time for you. I mean, before I get back to Tavish, Flesk, and Gurkow, and whatever Garrow's looking to do, were Sot and the EMD looking to do anything particular after they managed to get their medical scans of these guys, or what?
I'm sure these guys are still alive.
It seems
Do we
so,
have
yes.
any way to sort of like... Are they stable? Can we get them to the ship somehow?
They are stable. Getting them to the ship will be interesting, what with the ambient interference going on in the area. It seems particularly strong in here.
Mm-hmm.
Could be from the malfunctioning equipment. The patients, all four of them, do appear stable for the moment, but there is a life form gestating in the head of each of them.
Are you going to do emergency surgery to remove
I think that's probably no prudent. Yeah.
Good luck.
Alright, so before we go there, let's move over to first Flesk. Give me a reason and engineering check, please, with a focus on power systems.
Reason engineering.
Based on your tricorder scan.
Cool.
Not bad at all. 3 successes. Okay, I will come back to you in a second. Likewise, Gurkow can get me reason and science, please.
What's the probability? You know, looking at the probability of figuring stuff out like this.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Yeah.
Because if Flesk has gone over to something that pulsates, then my guess is this is going to be... Yep, okay, 2 successes, right. And finally, can I get Tavish to give me reason and engineering, please, with a focus on power systems or computers, either way.
I just rolled, so does someone else want to eat?
Sure. Liz, you back yet? Yes. Come in, Liz. Nope. Alright, so let's have Mr. Bell. Oh, no, you are back. Cool. Who are we needing folks to be? Can we have you as Tavish, please? Reason and engineering with a focus.
Me, yeah.
Garrow, we'll leave Garrow. We'll leave you alone for a minute there, Chris. Actually,
I'll assist if needs be.
1 dice or 2?
2 dice, please, for Tavish. Ooh, nice. And finally, can I actually get Garrow to give me reason and science as well, please?
Reason, science. Okay.
And I'm going to allow you to use shipboard tactical systems as your focus, and the reason why will become clear in a moment, but let's see how well you do first.
1 dice.
2.
2. Okay.
I want to see how each of you recognizes what you got going on. Okay, not bad. Righty-ho. So let's go around in the order I asked for things. So, it looks like Sot and the EMD are looking up at the options of doing an emergency medical procedure. That would certainly be prudent. You don't have an easy way of just transporting these creatures out of somebody's heads because of how small they are and the interference going on. So using surgery as a means to try and extricate these creatures is going to be a risky venture, but with, you know, 2 medics of this level of talent, here's hoping they could pull something like that off. You don't believe, from what you've learnt so far from these creatures, that once they start to gestate in someone, whether they're physically attached to them or not. So it should, hopefully, just be a case of getting in there and getting them out. That's going to be tricky enough, but it's certainly possible. The EMD is going to be a little bit limited on what it can accomplish, but it's got the ability to replicate its tools, whereas Dr. Sot, I do believe, has got the talent of field medicine, which lets him ignore any difficulty in using medical without proper tools at hand. So ordinarily you'd need a biobed to safely extract these creatures from somebody's head, but you're going to have to work with what you've got. It's going to be tricky, but it's going to be definitely possible, so you can get yourself set up and get ready for that, but don't roll anything yet. Meanwhile, Flesk, what you're looking at is definitely a power core of some sort, if not probably the main power generator. But there's something wrong with it. It's definitely thrumming and throbbing and pulsating a lot more than something like this should be. Likewise, Gurkow, the device you are next to, you think seems to be some form of transmitter-receiver. It's active, and you think it's got some indication, maybe, that it's receiving information. It's unclear yet what it's doing with this information or what this information actually is, but this is definitely some kind of transmitter-receiver array. Garrow is definitely looking at a 3D representation of the planet, Ceti Alpha V. What you notice, however, is that the display itself appears to be showing other points of what you might call points of interest around the planet. And it seems to have highlighted not only the main base of the science expedition, but it also has got a representation of the USS Combs in orbit of the planet, and it's highlighted it. You could swear, from the way that it's highlighted the Combs and the expedition headquarters, that it's denoted them in a kind of a threat manner. And finally, Tavish. Tavish has identified this is definitely the control console for most of this equipment, but the thing is obviously damaged and broken, and therefore it's got loose wires or something, because it's conducting the electricity that powers it through the chassis. So any attempt to try and access the controls of this system is going to be tricky without first finding the faulty bit of wiring and fixing it. So, with all of this information in mind, who's doing what? Or should I say, who's doing what first?
The target.
Say that again, Dave. I talked to you then.
I said, can we select the combs as a target, please?
To do that, you're going to have to activate the control mechanism, and that's what you're standing next to. And to activate or deactivate controls, you're going to have to get at the controls. To get at the controls, you're going to have to stop it from shocking you first.
I was going to say, if I stabilise the power and then turn it down, hopefully then the thing we had to shoot earlier in the previous room won't be so dangerous, and you won't get electrocuted by the control panel. So bloated.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Flash. You know, there's not just me in here now, there's two of us.
Alright. If everyone's okay with that?
So, the first thing that anybody's going to try is the power. Okay.
Yeah, let's try and turn the power down. Let's stabilise it and turn the power down.
Alrighty. Daring and engineering, please. You're basically trying to fiddle with the power core at its, manually dial down the power core while you're trying to turn down the steam valve whilst the engine is there building up with steam.
Cool.
So let's see if you can do it without getting burned.
I'm trying to figure out how I can help. I have inspiration. Can I just sit there and just try to inspire
absolutely.
everyone?
If you want to give Flesk orders and give him recommendations as to how he should proceed, absolutely, Hopkins can do so.
Because that gives me access to parent figure.
Which then gives him access to parent figure, exactly.
Yeah, presence of command.
Exactly. Inspiration. Give him the talk that he needs to hear so that he can do this safely and successfully. Excellent.
As you're being a good first officer, you're supervising.
Yeah.
All she's good for right now.
Just don't mess up! Are you sure that's the wire you want?
Would you like to use my backlift?
No, to get the wire out, you would hand in the truck.
Alright. Flesk, with some encouragement from Hopkins, starts looking around for the way to try and dial back the power output of the core. You find it and start trying to access it using mostly your tricorder and a few bits of manual jiggery-pokery in order to try and get your tricorder to interface with the thing. And as you establish contact, you do note that this thing is generating ridiculous amounts of power. But it's building, and it's building, and it's building. And you see this type of controlled build-up in a power system before. Usually, when a starship sets its core to self-destruct. With that knowledge in mind, I'm going to go quickly over to Dr. Sott and the EMD and their little attempt at trying to do some swift surgery. So let's have the EMD assisting. Can I get Mr. Bell, please, if you could be the emergency medical drone, assisting Dr. Sott with this bit of surgery. I will be wanting you to give me control and medicine with the internal medicine focus. Chris, you are rolling 1 dice. Dr. Sott, of course, will be doing this 2 dice. And also using... trauma surgery sounds most adequate here.
Here we go.
That's good. Okay, 1 success. So, what Dr. Sott and the EMD are proceeding very, very, very carefully. So they're cutting away the webbing, and what you get is that underneath the webbing you get an officer. He is oh, I've forgotten the name of he's a Frosian, and is still within an EVA suit, but the EVA suit's visor has been cracked very close to the side of his head. There's a bit of blood that seems to have dried on his left ear. That seems to be the entry point. He's just staring and rigid, but his eyes are slowly moved and track towards you as they notice you, and he's got a very wide-eyed, pleading look in his eyes. And so you've managed to do enough to crack open where you're going to need to go next. And it's just as you're reaching in to give him a hyperspray, obviously to numb the area, so you don't bore into his head without anaesthetic first. But as you're about to reach in and see what you can grasp in order to get it out, from the sand very close to Hopkins is a sudden eruption outwards as a small creature bursts out from the sand, opens its jaws wide and squeals really, really loudly and very, very angrily. At which point, from further down, almost in answer, another creature erupts out, squeals angrily, as does another. And another. They all seem rather upset that you're messing with where their young are hatching. So, I am going to throw things into initiative. Now, obviously, what I don't want is these guys. I want all of you and all of them, so... Boop.
Dr. Slot, you saved the crew. I'll handle these.
Nice. So, we have numerous things going on at the same time, but of paramount importance at the moment, of course, is the fact that the creatures are here and they seem to want to protect their young. So, who of you lot is going first? Bearing in mind there are others here that are doing other things too.
Hopkins.
Hopkins wants to go first and smash some eels. Okay. Off you go, Hopkins.
Yes,
It's
going up to
back
the
with time.
Daring, security, hand to hand.
Okay, so yes, indeed, it's daring and security. I get to roll the same.
Determination of creature of habit.
I see an enemy, I smite them. Good lord. Alright, you got a full momentum pool, you got 3 over and above what was necessary. You may as well add those 3 to... you didn't get that back, I'm afraid. But you can add those 3 extras to damage. So this and 3 extra. Good grief. Alright, so what we got was 9 successes and 5 effects. So, you pretty much cut that one in half from the word go. Slash! Nice.
Could I theoretically move over here?
Yes, absolutely you can. Just to cover the dock. Nice. Now, one of them is going to go next. That one. Okay, so let's see. You're interfering with the nest, but there's all of you. Yeah, Hopkins is closest. Now what you notice is these things launch themselves at speed at you. These things are hissing and spitting with wrath. You don't know if this is to do with the fact that you're messing with where their offspring are hatching from or what, but these ones appear even more aggressive than the last lot. So this is, again, daring, security, usual gubbins. I get a 20, so this one was so angry, it just it had no focus whatsoever. It just launched itself at Hopkins, who gets 2 over my 0 in order to do damage and add 2. 8 successes. With 4 more on top. Slice and dice. Splat. Thing launches itself. Yeah, the thing launches itself through the air as if going straight for Hopkins's face, but she just swings a bat'leth and just cuts down the middle as it comes at her, and just falls into a neat pair of chunks. And just still quiver and flap as if they're still trying to get at you even in death. Next, one of you lot. Who wants to go next?
I nominate Garrow as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Garrow. There's one very close to Tavish over here.
First of all, I'm going to recalibrate my phaser to Type 3 to Vicious.
Alright. So that's control and security difficulty 2.
Hang on, just target. Control, security, difficulty 2, with emphasis on phaser. 3, 2, 1.
2 successes on the bean. Roll damage for your phaser rifle, please. Ooh, lots of effects there.
Bang!
Kaboom. 8 with 5, so that's 8. 13. Good lord, you guys are doing some damage. Splat! Vaporizes the thing. So, that means one of them goes next. Did I just do the wrong one? I did. Silly me. One of them. It's gonna be... well, that's no way. I de-deaded that one. Whoops-a-daisy. Which means it's this one. Again, batter up.
We do have a full momentum pool.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Oh my god, yes, you can take it momentum.
Cool. Alright, form, focus. Using a momentum to purchase the dice.
Fine, fair and good. How do you do? Excellent. One
See,
extra.
I don't even need to use my warrior spirit to reroll any of those dice. Man.
So far you're doing fine without drawing on it, yes indeed. 4 with 3 effects, it's a vicious weapon, so that's 7 in total. This one you don't get as good.
Oh.
Pardon me, that's 5, that's 9 in total, that is a total kill.
Yeah.
Nice!
Because I got 1 over.
Yep. So, this gives everybody else a chance to act. So, who wants to act next?
Stop the self-destruct.
Okay, let's go for Commander Flesk. I need you to give me another reason and engineering check.
Reason engineering.
Difficulty 2.
Difficulty 2. I'm going to use my Star-Cross, because I'm using focus, to double my focus range.
Alright.
Is everyone okay if I steal a momentum?
Yeah?
Of course.
Go for it.
Cool. 3 dice, use my focus. I don't change complication range, we just... What do we do with the Star-Cross? We just take it into account.
So, Star-Cross means that you're using engineering, so anything 10 or below scores 2 successes rather than 1. So rather than it being 5 and under that scores 2, it's now 10 and under that scores 2.
Yep, that's right.
So there's one, there's one. So
Ooh, nice.
You've actually got 5 successes from that. Cool. Okay, from an examination of the core, this thing is locked into a build-up to self-destruct. Trying to cut it off at the source is not going to work. It's been locked in. It has to be overcome by inputting some kind of command override. To do that, that probably needs to come from the main control console, which is what Tavish is close to. You can maybe try and buy some small amount of time by trying on your next turn to throttle back what's going on. So it's either a case of help get the command console back up and online, or try and buy someone else a bit of time to get the command console up on online by trying to find some way of throttling back the power builder by doing something probably very risky and has a small chance of getting you electrocuted.
Okay.
So that's an option for next turn. However, speaking of, let's go with Tavish, actually. What does Tavish want to do next?
Seeing as this is probably not safe to fix at the moment.
This is safe to fix, but not safe to use.
All right, let's fix it then. Let's fix it. If it's not,
so this is going to be a daring and engineering thing, because you're basically trying to seize hold of a sparking wire while it's still live. But you've got power systems as a focus, which you can use.
Cool. If somebody wouldn't mind doing that for me.
Connie, you haven't done anything at the moment. Let's get you the Cavish and doing that role.
Okay.
That's a good point, actually. Did I didn't actually put Gurkow in the initiative list. Let me take care of that. That's very bad of me. So, daring and engineering from Tavish, please. The focus on power systems.
Engineering, power systems, focus. Let's roll.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay, reckon you've got a handle on that. And fix the fault. Now the thing has to be reset so that it can be actually used now. But that's for somebody else to worry about. Is there anything Gurkow herself actually wants to do where she's at?
I want to see, so there was a supposed stream of some kind of transfer going on my console. So I want to sort of ascertain what kind of information or what kind of communication is getting through or going from or coming through this.
I would like you to give me a reason and engineering check, please. Engineering? No, we can go with science on this one, actually.
Whew. Lovely. Science, reason and science. Yes, I'll just go with that.
Okay, cool. One success. From that you're able to determine that this is indeed some kind of communication array, and the array is actually receiving some kind of message or information right this very moment. You're not able to decode what the information is, but the information is that the transmission of information is definitely coming from off-world. It's beaming in from off-world into this establishment that you currently have going on here. And the device that Gurkow has stood next to is basically the communications computer. It does seem, from the information you're seeing screeding across and the activity of the actual item itself, is that this information is being passed on to the systems in this chamber, and it is doing something. You're just not entirely clear what.
So like some sort of command is being run through from off-world.
Entirely possible. Now, we go for Dr. Sott.
Hello.
You had little eel things that were very unhappy with what you were attempting to do, but Hopkins has since dealt with 3 of them, so...
Everyone's a critic. Now that we've hopefully dealt with that little infestation, can I resume my work in, like, rescuing these guys, bringing them around if possible?
Absolutely.
So yeah, pick up on that.
This is going to be control and medicine once again.
Control,
whatever
medicine.
Emergency surgery focus that you can get a handle on. And the EMD can certainly be assisting with this. In fact, I'll do that now for the EMD.
Thank you.
2 successes, 3 successes. Okay, cool. So, working on this guy, you do manage to, after giving him a hyperspray to anesthetize him, you start working away, and Sott is able to drag this small, slimy creature that is a very miniature version of the eels that you have been battling. This thing is squirming and hissing and spitting at Sott as it's announcing its disapproval of being moved from its comfy little home. But nevertheless, it's there. It's out. It's no longer a threat to this particular individual. So you can do with the little creature as you will. but it seems to be emitting this teeny tiny little shriek of its own, and it's almost as if it's trying to actively get at Dr. Soth, even it's kind of snapping and wriggling at him. And that's when everybody realizes that the ground has been rumbling very, very fiercely. Yeets it away. Whee! The ground has been rumbling very, very fiercely, but been building up slowly. Since you were dealing with the eels and the equipment, you hadn't noticed it. But then in a shower of rock and other debris, the entire southern wall just comes away, and there's this enormous bestial roar. As this massive creature, this enormous worm-like monstrosity with a maw the size of you, standing up, just bursts forth from the sand and the dirt, and it seems extremely not pleased that you were here. As it sits back and well, not sits back, as it displays its massive maw and roars at you, I am going to add this fine fella. As it spews forth hatred at you, other smaller creatures start dropping off from in between its chitinous plates. It seems the mother has arrived. And, yes, so some of you have got what appears to be a self-destruct. Hopkins roars back. I like. As we have now got, there's that one, there's this one, there's that one. So the big mama has now joined the fray. So who of you wants to go first?
Hopkins.
We all knew that it was going to be Hopkins, right?
I am going to, actually, I'm going to use 2 threat and steal the initiative from you.
Aww.
Ooh.
As this massive creature lumbers forward, and its maw seems to convulse and undulate, as it then makes... Let me see if I can do this. It seems to be about to cough something up, and then it opens up its maw and spews forth this massive stream of silken strands. Ooh, 1. Was that enough? Ooh. Hopkins manages to hold up her batleth as the thing spews these streams of silken strands at her. Some of them snag hold of her, but don't manage to get a good enough purchase. As such, I am going to spend another threat to say that some of them have got a purchase, and therefore the creature now has Hopkins webbed and is starting to... there's muscles in its... just behind its teeth that it's now starting to draw with, and this horrible sucking sound can be heard as it's drawing the webbing back towards itself. Hopkins is being pulled towards the creature's maw.
Okay.
So
now,
that was me. Now it's you.
Okay. It's pulling me towards it, right?
The place you most wanted to be. But it has webbed some of you up, so any actions you take are going to be a little trickier as a result of the fact that some of you are stuck to the rest of you. She giggles maniacally.
Alright. Dip, 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 dip. Focus. Never backing down. Determination.
Cool.
Can I use the momentum to buy a third dice?
That's entirely up to everybody else.
Hit it hard.
Do it. So, daring and security versus my daring and security. Look at that. There's a complication.
But you see, I bought a purchase, so Warrior Spirit. When a Klingon attempts a melee attack and purchases one or more additional dice with momentum, the Klingon may reroll any number of d20s.
Ah.
That's a good reroll.
So rerolling 2 of those.
Okay, so you rolled the 18 and the 20, turning them into a 7 and a 6, which means that's actually 5. Which means I think, am now going to roll some extra myself. Tit for tat, as they say. Yeah. Let's see what I can do with 4 dice. Ooh, 5 versus 4, so that was a close one. But you did come off there, so...
I don't get my determination back.
Nope, you don't get your determination back. I am sorry. But you did get 1 over, which means you can do 1 point of extra damage. 1 dice worth of extra damage, I should say, pardon me. We're not using 2nd edition rules yet.
Oh.
Okay, but that's still 7 with 4 effects. With Vicious, that makes it an 11. 11 minus its hard chitinous armor makes for 9, which makes for... So it draws you straight into it, but you manage to catch it in the soft fleshy bits, and it roars its displeasure at that.
A little hard to swallow.
Right, so now one of them goes next, unless you're spending momentum to seize the initiative. No.
Garen, do you want to seize the initiative and blast it?
Yep.
All right.
Am I still on the Vicious?
Oh, you are.
Am I?
You've still trained your weapon to be vicious. Yes. Sorry, you tuned it, not trained it.
So you could aim it with Vicious.
You could use your you could use your fast action to aim, and your slow action to shoot. Yes.
Yep. In which case, I will do exactly that.
So you're rolling 2 dice. Any other dice you want to buy, whatnot? Or any determination you want to spend?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to spend determination? We may not have the momentum for it, but do you want to spend determination?
Yep. I will do exactly that.
Every problem has a solution, or always have an exit strategy. Through the enemy!
I think in this case it would be every problem has a solution.
Kill it dead. Alright, so that's 2 dice. You're doing control and security.
Yep,
the difficulty for this is 2.
Okay. Oh wait, and yeah, that's great. Determination, focus, and all that.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Blast off! That's a good shot. You don't need to use your aim there. It was really, really good. 5 successes, 3 over and above what you needed. Now, you can add some or all of those extra 3 back to the momentum pool, or you could spend some of them on extra damage. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go with the extra damage here.
All 3 of them into the extra damage?
Yep.
All right.
Type 3 on
the type 3.
So need to throw that first.
Whoa.
Okay, and then
3 extra challenge dice.
3 extra challenge.
Okay, I did 2 extra, so that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, minus... Good lord, you blow a massive hole in it. The massive mama creature crumbles to the ground as an enormous phaser hole is just blown through it and just erupts out the other side with goo.
I feel like them are in Tremors right now.
Definitely that scene from Tremors. Right, which means I go next.
The bit where it came through the canyon definitely felt like it, like the bit in Tremors where one of the graboids goes through Bert Gummer's wall.
Yes. So in revenge for what you did, one of them goes flying at Garrow. So can I get Garrow to roll me daring and security, please?
Hang on. Daring. No, why does it?
I'm going to spend a threat to re-roll that 18.
Daring security, right? Yep.
Yes, please.
Survival?
No, this is going to be more hand-to-hand.
Hand to hand. Okay. One or two dice. 2
dice for you, please. Let's see what you get. 3 successes. Blimey, onto my 2. So Garrow gets to do unarmored damage and gets to add 1 extra. As you give it a swift kick. Good lord, Garrow and Hopkins are on fire today.
And one challenge dice. Is that
1 extra challenge dice, yes. Unless you want to put it back into the momentum pool. Nope, never mind. Okay, 6 with 1 effect. So that was 6 down to that, and give it a punt so that it rolls away from you. Cool. Who of you lot is going next? We've got Flask, we've got the EMD, we've got Dr. Sot, we've got Tavish, we've got Gurkhan.
I would like to go, but not to attack the Queen Eel yet.
Cool.
Can I use my go to trace the signal?
Absolutely. Give me control and science, please. With, let me see. I mean, statistical probability will help with this one because there's only so many places this transmission can come from at such a strength. So, do it.
I'm just going to use. I would like to use my Starcross as well.
So 10s
so hopefully,
okay.
Yeah, they'll give us some more momentum if we do it. To get something.
Excellent
so
idea.
And science. Let's go.
Okay, that's good. So 3 netted you 2 anyway. 3 successes. Alright, from the signal strength, you think actually that the transmission is coming from in-system. And then you remember that when the Combs first came through the Ceti Alpha system, you passed in the debris field for what used to be Ceti Alpha 6. There was a monolith which was giving off an energy signature. It's entirely probable that that monolith is what's transmitting, and this place is receiving.
Okay. Am I able to relay that to
everybody? Yeah, absolutely.
The Combs as well?
If you want to, yes. Transmission might be a little bit spotty getting through the interference, but they might be able to get it, yes.
Okay, I'll do that then in case there's something they can do outside on the outside.
Cool. Next up, one of the angry eels. Not very happy with Hopkins and Garrow having killed the Mama. I'm going to pull the thingy away from Hopkins so we can actually see. Daring and security again, please, Commander. Well, my one's very, very angry. And this one, I get 5 over your 3, so I get 2 extra. Now, luckily for you, these things are actually quite small, but I get 3 successes, 3 effects. Now, this will be interesting. I now need Hopkins to give me a fitness and security test difficulty 2. Now, your suit will have taken some of that. 3. One. So you take 2. There is a complication.
I still beat them.
Yeah, but there's a complication.
Double-edged battle.
Okay. So what happens is the creature skirts around the side, and Hopkins doesn't quite see it in time as it comes around and bites onto her arm, and it does pierce through the EVA suit. Hopkins can feel the paralytic agent starting to make all her muscles bunch and knot up and go stiff. She's fighting it, so Hopkins will still be able to act, but you're going to be fighting your own musculature at the same time. So any actions you take in the next turn are going to be that much more difficult to pull off, as the paralytic is working its way through your system. One of you can go next. Who's it going to be? Flask, EMD, Sot, Tavish.
I don't mind taking a shot.
Cool.
I'll
Sot.
go for this one.
Oh, Sot is getting Marshall. Okay, cool. So that's control and security with difficulty 2. Would you look at that? 1. So the good news is, Sot doesn't hit Hopkins. The bad news is, neither does he hit the eel. Which means it's unless Sot wants to move or do something else.
No, I'm okay where I am. You know, I want to sort of protect the
Patience. Cool. In which case it's the other eel's turn. It's seen that its fellow has latched onto Hopkins. Let's go for you, Tavish.
Yes.
Mark, can I get you to get Tavish to roll daring and security, please? I rolled a 20. Oh dear. I'm going to re-roll that. Oh, you got 1 success. I got 1 success. So that was a no-score draw. Cool. Flask, EMD, Tavish want to go next?
Let's go for Tavish.
I was say, do you want to try and fix the console?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got an eel right next to you.
Because if you need more time, I can try and buy some when it comes around to me.
What do you want to do? What would Tavish like to try? Fix the console, boot the eel, some combination?
Can I change my settings on my phaser to melt whatever rubber is on its back?
So you're basically giving yourself the piercing quality.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, we'll count it as vicious, since technically you're trying to do extra damage. Cool. So that was your slow. Now you're sorry, your fast. Now your slow can be to actually shoot. So control and security, please. Difficulty 2.
Shall I do that again? No.
Probably a good idea if you did, yeah. That looks like 2 on the money. Roll that phaser damage. Using the type 2. Nice, so that was 3 with 1 effect. You change it to vicious, so that's actually 4. You'd hurt it, certainly. Right, there's no more of them, so Flask or the EMD, who's next?
I'm going to try and buy us some more time.
Okay. Daring and engineering, please, with power systems to focus. Okay. Nothing you're trying seems to have any effect on the build-up. You've got, you think, minutes left. The EMD. What does the EMD want to do? I mean, could try bringing the science officer you've just freed from the creature around so that the paralytic doesn't affect it anymore.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go about it, right?
Ordinarily, I'd say it doesn't need a roll, but you guys need momentum, so why don't you give me control and medicine to earn some momentum? Emergency, internal medicine will do for focus. So off you go, Chris. That will do nicely. 2 momentum back.
Okay.
Next round. Who of you is going first?
If
Hopkins?
everyone's okay, I'll go first and try and buy us some time. But I'll spend determination this time.
Alrighty. Give me that daring and engineering again.
Yep, desperation breeds inspiration. And then anything that focus, determination. Let's go.
Bing, bang, boom! Ooh, that's much better. 5
hello.
successes. Gets you a point of momentum back. Right, yes, you do stop it from drawing upon too much more power, so the build-up is slowed. You've still got minutes, but it's more minutes than you had before. Right, eel time.
No, unless Hopkins or Garrel want to steal momentum.
Do you want to, yeah, seize the initiative?
Yeah, I will, because I got one right here. He's going to go for me otherwise. I think so. Yeah, there we go.
By all means, let fly.
Control and security. Laser. 2 dice. Fire. But this is the type 3.
Type 3, okie dokie. 1 success. That's a miss, as as you explode the area next to it rather than the creature itself.
Okay.
Which the creature then uses as a means of throwing itself back at Garrow. So Garrow, give me daring and security this time with a focus on hand-to-hand.
Daring.
Ooh, I got 2.
Okay.
And you got 3, so there we go. Roll unarmed damage. You can add 1 extra to damage. That was good. Boot.
Let's see, yeah. Perform challenge.
Ooh, that was good. So that's 6 with 3 effects. That one comes apart as you stamp on it in a squishy mess.
All part of the plan. Hang at it. Bam. No, you don't.
So that was it going. Who of you is next? Hopkins want to go next?
Or Tavish, you want to disable the self-destruct?
Yeah, I'll disable the self-destruct.
Cool.
Let's use
definitely going to need control and... Let's go control and engineering with power systems or indeed computers as a focus.
Determination, please.
Alright.
Using cooling crisis.
Cool.
You didn't put on the determination.
Oh, I didn't.
That's fine, because that just means 2 extra successes from that, which makes it 4. Nil, as you call her, also comes up with something at this point, and Tavish all of a sudden finds herself getting into her immediate brain a load of formulae suddenly appear, which has Tavish's, which can represent Tavish's determination kicking in, and a load of commands are issued. What you find is that the system has been locked into a self-destruct as a result of a threat being detected. It seems that threat was a scan that was performed by what the system recognizes as unauthorized personnel. You think it's got a similar kind of flag in the system as somebody who's not meant to be here started engaging in a scan of the planet, and that seemed to trigger a security system, which in turn has resolved into turning on the self-destruct. The self-destruct mechanism itself seems tinged as a means of making sure that it seems like a last resort thing, which would suggest that whoever used to own this place didn't want others getting their hands on their technology. But you do manage to put a stop to the self-destruct. So from Flesk's perspective, the build-up of energy now suddenly just goes away. It stops. And the power output is now starting to return to normal. Phew!
With those 4 successes, what's only left over in momentum? What's that?
Oh, good point, good point, good point. Okay, there we go. So it's one of them next. The one that's currently attached to Hopkins. Now, Hopkins isn't succumbing to the paralytic as quickly as it would like, so it's going to try and bite down again to inject some more. And I get a 20, so I am spending threat to re-roll that. And I get a 7. Okay, so I get 1 success. Hopkins, daring and security, if you please.
Alright.
But the difficulty for you is 2 rather than 1 now. Ooh, hello!
I'm going to give Hopkins my
Legion of Honor?
what? Legion of Honor, yeah.
Okay. So that means that it is a score draw.
So, is anyone else getting a really high-pitched?
Yeah, I heard that.
Keeping as well.
Somebody's
Yeah.
was probably cooking and set the fire alarm off.
Okay. It's not just me that does that then. That's nice to know. Alright, the creature tries to bite down harder on Hopkins in order to try and inject more poison, but doesn't manage to, as Hopkins is just thrashing at the thing, trying to get it to come off. Does Hopkins want to go now?
Yeah, she's gonna hit it.
Cool. Beat it until it stops moving. Go for it.
Can I use a momentum to get an extra dice?
Absolutely. Here's my attempt. 2 successes. So once again, because you've got paralytic in your system, that's actually 3 that you need to get on or over to draw.
Alright, I'm gonna use my Star Cross, which doubles my
Cool.
range. Yeah, doubles the focus range.
Cool, cool. So that makes it 10s and unders, which you didn't get any of.
No.
So it bites you again. You got 1, it got 2, it only got 1 extra, so let's go with that.
Oh, the sad part is I've been doing fitness and daring, or fitness and security instead of daring. Oops.
But your rolls were still pretty high either way, so...
well, it would have been a 15. The 15 would have counted.
So 2, either way,
Yeah.
still got less than you wanted. So we'll ignore that. Anyway, there was a 0 success anyway. So another 4 minus your armor makes that... What was your armor? That much. Okay, so that's another 3. 1, 2, 3. Another fitness... And... what was it? Another fitness and security test to wear off, to try and shrug off the paralytic. Woo, that was close. It's getting harder and harder to do.
I'm moving it to daring so I don't forget.
Right, Tavish is going to get bitten. Tavish has to roll me daring and security, please.
Oh no.
I only got one.
Tavish has got this.
Oh yeah.
You got two. You do have it.
Nil
unarmed,
helping her out
you can
with
add
her
one
dexterity.
Strike.
Get to roll one extra dice.
D6.
Challenge dice. Roll one challenge dice.
Oh.
Two, that's what we wanted. Right, so
Three.
that's 3 with one effect. 1, 2, 3. It's still not dead, but you do punt it away from you so that it has to come at you next time. Gurkau, Sot, or EMD are next.
Does the Dr. Sot or the EMD want to try and cure Hopkins?
Yeah.
Dr. Sot! Get in there with some control and medicine in order to get a hyper spray of anti-paralytic in there.
Control and medicine.
Emergency medicine will count
Thank you.
as a focus. Nice. Alright, Hopkins suddenly is a lot less stiff than she was before. Gurkau and EMD are left.
Maybe the EMD. I feel like I'm a bit too far from the action.
No, you can still use a quick action to, a quick action to move and then a slow action to shoot.
What if I want to use lefty and righty?
Then, well, actually, considering I haven't really put this into zones, yeah, you could still do that.
Alright then.
Go on then, twist me arm.
There I go. Okay, so left and right, I'm going to pummel this last eel since I haven't had a chance to pummel anything yet.
Cool. There are 2 eels remaining, this one and the one next to Hopkins. So you want to go for the weaker one
Maybe
first?
Maybe in this case I'll go for this. I don't know. On one hand, I know that Hopkins will want to, have that eel alter herself. So I'll just go for the weaker one.
Okay. Daring and security, probably with an emphasis on hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got a good one there, so make this one count. Ooh, a complete draw. Neato. And the EMD can meanwhile start operating on the science officer here. We'll take that as red, but you probably want to know how much extra momentum you get, so let's make the EMD do that. Not much. Okay. Alright, round 5. 2 of them left. The self-destruct sequence has been stopped, so you've got that going for you. It's now down to dealing with the last 2 eels, so let's see. Who wants to go first?
Go on, Hopkins.
Go on then, Hopkins. Smash an eel. Providing, of course, Liz is still with us. Elizabeth? Yep, there she is. Can I get you to do the bat left fisticuffs type thing on the eel, please?
Can I get a momentum for a 3rd dice?
Absolutely you can, you got 4. Ooh, you got 4, I got 2. Damage with 2 extra. What time is it? Battle at the clock, you say? No, 2 past battle at the clock. Okay. 3, 12, 16! I think that eel is chopped into itty little bits. basically smash the thing against the ground when it's still attached to Hopkins until it comes apart. Which means there's one eel left.
Yeah, do you want to seize the initiative and just...
Does Gurkow indeed want to seize the initiative and try and kill this thing before it gets a chance to attack her? I mean, either way, Gurkow gets to roll daring and security anyway.
Yeah, so I was thinking, you know, if we can save momentum if the eel would go next.
Alright.
And then there's no guarantee that I would succeed either way.
Fair enough.
So, Gurkow, if you please. Daring and security. I only got one, so... You got 2! 1 over.
Alright. Gonna pummel this. Oh, no wait, not that
That
one.
wasn't what we wanted to do, was it? Where's the dice on this thing? There we go. Ooh, that was a good one. And you got 1 extra on top of that, didn't you? Yes.
Yes. I mean... no, just oh, can I put that back into momentum?
Absolutely, if you want to, yeah. Sure.
I think I'll do that then.
5 with 1 effect. Yeah, splat. Step on the thing's tail so it can't get away, and then start stamping on it with the other foot. Alright. End combat. And silence descends. Literally. So, the eels are all squished into gooey remnants. The queen herself, if that was the queen, it seems to shed similar creatures. That also explains where all the webbing came from and how the smaller things didn't have reproductive organs, so to speak. But nevertheless, this place's technology has at least been put into a dormant state. But what folks learn from the control console and the central console with the 3D holographic image of the planet. Excuse me for talking like Shatner there for a moment. Is that, yes, indeed, there did seem to be a triggering event which sparked off the self-destruct that went on. It seems, to all intents and purposes, that the monolith that is hovering in the debris field that used to be Ceti Alpha V was some kind of sensor, maybe, that detected the presence of the science expedition here. The fact that the self-destruct system was winding up for that long before it got to a critical stage explains, to a certain amount, the earthquakes that were going on. When Tavish and Flesk start to examine the control console more closely, they find that there's a hell of a lot of errors, not only in the code, but also damage to some of the physical damage to some of the systems. So, the initial response to there being intruders was to initiate the initiate security features. Those security features, it seems, are no longer present on the planet, either through the destruction of the world above or something else. Those security measures never came into operation, and so the system here on Ceti Alpha V just kept churning around looking for a security system to defend the installation and never found it, which produced quite a few logic errors. Those logic errors, it seemed, built up over time to then make the central computer system come to the conclusion that the only thing left to do was to self-destruct and deny the entire planet to the intruders. Thankfully, because you turned it off, this place had enough destructive power to level not only the planet, but probably take out some of the other planets in the system as well. So, Good thing you turned it off. The only other thing worth mentioning is that when you eventually get through combing the data from this installation, you discover that there are historical records that actually show you the event where Ceti Alpha 6 itself exploded. And that was the event that ended up shifting the orbit of Ceti Alpha V and laying waste to the entire, well, the landscape of the planet and eliminating all but one native life form. It seems that was derived from a logic error as well. The system, the installation, if there was one left on Ceti Alpha 6, apparently registered a starship as a potential threat and started its own countdown, which got it into a similar logic error as the one that you encountered here. And that resulted in the destruction of Ceti Alpha 6.
We find out at all if what starcraft it was?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a
you do comb through
is there
the
a
records
report
and you
on
find
it?
Yeah, you find you're not exactly a visual record, but it seems the installation did scan the ship that came through. The timestamp on this was about 105 years ago. And the sensor images taken of the spacecraft look very similar to a Constitution class Starfleet ship.
The ship which I know which ship it is because it's already on the planet.
No, it's the
It's on this planet.
Yeah. I was going to say, does it have a warp signature which we can cross-reference with our own records?
Yes.
And then confirm it in time.
Yes. It turns out that this starcraft, which visited the Ceti Alpha system 105 years ago, was the USS Enterprise. 105 years ago, it entered into the Ceti Alpha system. It was detected by the installation, whatever was there on Ceti Alpha 6. The installation on Ceti Alpha 6 then started a slow decline into the technological equivalent of madness, and eventually it went boom.
Well, we've got a stop-off on the way back that we're going to want to investigate, but do we want to make sure that the doc and the EMD can save the rest of the science team?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now that there are no more threats present, it's an easier job for the EMD and Dr. Sott to revive and cut free the remaining members of the science team. And you do manage to extract the little icky baby eels from their ear cavities.
Are we? Surely we're still taking the Ephrosion back, if not for posterity, then for science, right?
You do have a body, yes.
Okay. That's coming with
Quick question.
Of course.
Just to make sure, this computer will this computer system ever go into self-destruct again if it detects another starship?
If you can essentially turn off the systems, then nothing should reactivate them and make this happen again.
Okay. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
Well, is this Tavish doing that?
Daring and engineering, then. Pull the plug.
Cool. If someone wants to be Tavish, I will assist as Flesk.
Chris Powell. You be Tavish.
Using a focus in power systems?
Yep.
For Flesk.
It'll be similar for Tavish too. Oh, there we go. Really good.
I will use my last determination.
Oh, okay then. There you go, Chris. Use Tavish's last determination.
And I'm leading this, aren't I? So use determination.
Focus in computers.
Yeah, sure. Let's use that.
Focus and determination for.
Make sure this never happens again. War 19, that was close.
Oh.
But 5 in total, so yes. To your satisfaction, you are able to input the command to power down and deactivate all systems. And as such, the whole thing just shuts down with a very audible hum. And all that's left is the sound of your own breath through the EVA suits. The other individuals of the remaining part of the science team are more than keen to get this place behind them as quickly as possible. And so,
as we've shut down the problems with this defense system,
yes.
has it cleared out any interferences? Because can we transport them back whilst we get on the Guichar to go investigate our little stop off?
Good thinking. No problem. Alright, we shall do that. In which case, yeah, you successfully beam up the survivors. They are on board the Combs now, along with the rest of the science teams, and you guys successfully recover the Guichar, spinning it around and heading back off into space. And so, we leave behind Ceti Alpha V with some... You've actually managed to solve a bit of a 100-year-old mystery, though.
Oh, I thought we were getting the Guichar to go to the Botany Bay.
Oh, if you want to go to the Botany Bay, that's fine with me, but... okay.
Unless no one else wants to.
No, I definitely want to download the computer. Well, if we can get some power, I definitely want to download the computer system from Botany Bay.
Unfortunately, you don't find one.
Since the paralytic is still in Hopkins, how long does it take before it finally takes effect?
Thanks to the fact that Dr. Sott is nearby, I'll say that the paralytic doesn't take full effect, and by that point Dr. Sott can inject an anti-paralytic. So Hopkins is going to have sore muscles for a bit because they were all basically cramping up in order to, you know, basically lock up and hold you in place. A prisoner in your own body. So she's going to be a bit stiff, but otherwise she's okay.
As we stopped off at the Botany Bay and we searched it, did we find anything of note?
The only thing of note, really, is it seems that it's almost like it is pretty much a museum display. The science teams have kind of boxed some stuff, put other stuff in clear containers with labels, and there's also a little plaque detailing the history of Khan Noonien Singh and his other genetically altered kin, who used these cargo containers and the remnants of the ship itself as living quarters. However, the gaping hole in the floor at one particular section seems to suggest that something, possibly the big mama worm, may have visited this place at some particular point. There's a couple of books here and there, there's a couple of things. There's even a tank where apparently Khan and his folks actually kept some of the Ceti eels. But other than that, you're mostly visiting a museum exhibit.
I'm guessing due to the lack of the interference, we were actually able to get all the science equipment off rather than having to prioritize rescue. Cool. So we got everything off that needed to be.
Yes. Yes. Well done.
Cool.
What?
And unless there's anything else, then that brings us to a neat little conclusion with episode 15, Trouble on Ceti Alpha V. This was, like I noted, a special little episode with one very, very big callback to Trek history, whilst also expanding a little upon it. This, as I have noted previously as well, is also the 15th episode, which is officially the end of Season 1 of Star Trek Combs. which means that next time we meet, we'll be starting on episode 16, which will be the start of season 2.
Yeah.
Woo!
Paramount okayed our budget, so
Yeah.
they gave us a second season. So stuff will be happening in season 2. But yeah, that's 15 entire episodes of Star Trek Combs. So I will be asking questions of my players after this, just to see how they found it. But for the time being, we don't need to involve you guys who are watching with all that. So unless you guys have got anything specific to this episode and its mission to ask or to add.
Just one thing to add from me. Just to see how Nil's progress is going on, and I will, with Nil's permission, be sending a detailed report on her systems and everything she's done. To Starfleet R&D and was it the Daystrom Institute as well?
Yes, that's correct.
So, yes.
All right, no
if
problem.
Nil allows it.
Nil does allow it.
Oh, cool.
Nil does allow it. I mean, she's very much of.
Why wouldn't I allow it?
Nil's definitely got Lily's personality.
And maybe a little bit of something else.
Yes.
But in the meantime, thank you very much to my players who went through this special season-ending episode. And thank you very much to everybody who watched us today. I hope you enjoyed it. And for those who are watching on YouTube later on, if you did enjoy it, then please show it by leaving us a like, because it helps our Lord and Master, the algorithm, tell that people actually do enjoy watching Let's Plays or actual plays of role-playing games and Star Trek. What with Star Trek Discovery starting its final season now, put a bit more notice to Star Trek in the algorithm. In the meantime, folks, yes, we ask you to do like the Vulcans do. Live long and prosper. And, you know, captain a starship maybe into a second season of your favourite show, like this one. But also definitely engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Thanks to my players, as I noted before, this has been 15 really cool episodes so far, and hopefully more of in the future as we roll into Season 2. Who knows what will happen in Season 2? We shall have to wait and find out. But it'll be another 15-episode season, so plenty to do, plenty to see. And that will be coming along in 2 weeks' time. So that will be the 5th of May, if everybody's around for that, which I hope they are.
Yep, should be.
I believe so.
Excellente. In that case, then, from myself, MJ the GM, and from the crew of the Combs, thanks to everybody who's been with us from the start of Season 1. We'll hopefully see you when we roll into Season 2. In the meantime, live long and prosper, look after yourselves, take care of each other, especially with all the nuts stuff going on in the world today. And we will see when we see you next. Hailing frequencies are now closed.